Welcome to Projection Reflection. I'm your host Coronado, and today, you know what? I just realized I'm wearing the wrong shirt for this. Give me 1 second. Shazam! Much better. So today we're reviewing DC's newest film, Shazam! Directed by David F. Sandberg, who also directed Annabelle Creation and Lights Out. So he's a very well-known horror director. The music was done by Benjamin Wallfish, and the cast includes Asher Angel and Zachary Levi as Billy Batson and Shazam, Mark Strong as the villain Thaddeus Savannah, and Jack Dylan Grazer as Billy Batson's friend Freddie Freeman. The plot goes that we all have a superhero inside of us. It just takes a bit of magic to bring it out. In 14-year-old Billy Batson's case, all he needs to do is shout out one word to transform into the adult superhero, Shazam! Still a kid at heart, Shazam revels in the new version of himself by doing what any other teen would do. Have fun while testing out his newfound powers. But he'll need to master them quickly before the evil Dr. Thaddeus Savannah can get his hands on Shazam's magical abilities. I'm just going to say it right now. I absolutely loved this film. It was outstanding. Loved everything about it. Zachary Levi nailed it as Shazam. Like, he was born to play this character. He really made me believe that he was a 14-year-old kid in an adult's body. That sold it. Like, if that didn't go well, the film would have crashed down, but thank God it went right. Zachary Levi just did such a great job. And Asher Angel also did a great job playing as Billy Batson. He was kind of like the emotional core of the film. This film actually has a lot of core. I'm going to be saying that a lot in this review. But yeah, he really drove the film with his emotion. I love the relationship between Freddie and Billy. I believe that really drove the film as well. Their comedy and their chemistry between one another. Because I believe Asher Angel and Jack Dylan Grazer had chemistry together, and so did Zachary Levi and Jack Dylan Grazer. They had just incredible chemistry. They played off each other very well. And their comedy was just outstanding. I love their back and forth. It's great. Mark Strong as Savannah was just deliciously over the top, and I love my villains to be over the top. The one nitpick I have with him is I wish he had more backstory. I wish I got to know his character a little bit more, because they show him early in the film as a kid, and then there's this huge big gap. And I really would have liked the other stuff leading up to him becoming this villainous character. But we really don't get to see any of that. I loved Mark Strong in Green Lantern as well. He plays an awesome Sinestro. Kick-Ass, I loved him as the villain in that. I also liked him as Merlin in Kingsman 1 and 2. And I liked him as Lord Blackwood in the Robert Downey Jr. Sherlock Holmes film. He's just a great character actor. The guy just nails it every time. For me in general, he's just a great actor. This film has an incredible amount of heart. It's a very just heartfelt film, and you can tell that the people who created this film really cared about the character. It's just great. This film is definitely a love letter to the 80s children's films, if you know what I'm saying. Especially Big with Tom Hanks, when this little kid wishes that he was an adult, and he becomes Tom Hanks. But yeah, this film took a lot from Big. And it also, I think, took a little bit from the Goonies as well, because the foster kids in this film really remind me of the Goonies characters. Another film it reminds me of is Gremlins. There is this horror-esque scene in Shazam, And the thing about Gremlins is, like, it's this kid's film, and Shazam, it's kind of like it's a kid's film, but there is a horror elements to Gremlins where there's this really scary moment in the film, and the same goes for Shazam. There's this very scary moment that I think a lot of kids would be turned off by. They would be very scared. And I believe in another review I heard a kid actually had to be walked out of the theater because of the way he was acting towards that scene. And I mean, for me, it was an amazing scene. I loved it. It's kind of like with Sam Raimi, the Spider-Man, the first 3 Spider-Man films he directed, and he brought kind of a horror element to Spider-Man 2 a little bit. And this film actually kind of feels like, for me, it feels like an older superhero movie. Like it should have been made back in the day. Should have been made maybe in the 80s or the 70s, and that's a good thing. That's a good compliment for this film. It's very much akin to Christopher Reeve's Superman or Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man. If that makes any sense to you, it's got an old school feel to it, and I love that. I love that about this film. My favorite scenes in this film would be Billy Batson learning his powers. All that was great. I loved the office building takeover by the 7 deadly sins and Savannah. Very, very scary scene. Loved it. The whole third act of this film is just wow. Blow my freaking mind. It was great. That whole third act was just outstanding. Just full of action, full of comedy. Everything you want in a superhero film was right in that last half hour, and it was just so good. I can't tell you because it's a huge spoiler, and I don't want to give out spoilers in this review. Another scene I really liked was this emotional scene between Billy and another character. I can't tell you who the character is because that would be giving away spoilers. But it's a very emotional scene, and it really drives Billy to do what he needs to do and become what he needs to become. I believe the heart, like I was saying how this film is very heartfelt, and I believe the heart of the film is definitely Billy's foster parents and his foster family. They are the heart and soul of this film, and the film really drives on that moral that family is everything. And you can find family with people that aren't your blood relatives. You can find family with this group of people. He found family with this group of people that he didn't even know, but he grew to love and care for these people in this movie. And you really go on a journey with Billy Batson in this film. They really hit the the old saying, the old Spider-Man saying, with great power comes great responsibility. And this film really, really pushes on that saying, because I don't think in the beginning of the film Billy really doesn't have the responsibility to be a superhero, but he works at it, and he becomes what he truly needs to become, what he truly needs to be. He needs to be a hero. And I just love it. But yeah, the foster parents in this film, just the actors that played them, just did an incredible job. They were very funny, very loving. I believe their performances. Their performances were just so heartfelt, and it was great, guys. It was really great. But what else I can say about this film is the comedy. There's so much laughs in this film. I was laughing out loud a good bit during this movie, and a lot of the comedy, like I said, it comes from Freddy, it comes from the foster kids, comes from Shazam, aka Billy Batson. It comes from a lot of the characters, and just so many of the characters play off each other so well, and the comedy doesn't feel like it's forced. It feels like it's natural. And that's what I like. I don't like when a joke is forced. In Thor Ragnarok, all the jokes in that film were pushed way too hard. In this film, the comedy feels real. It doesn't feel forced. And that's another thing I absolutely love about this movie. Just all out, this is just a fantastic film. It is incredibly fun. It is a fun family film with lots of action, lots of laughs, a little bit of emotion put in there, a little bit of horror put in there. It's just a little bit of everything put into Shazam. And like I said, being a person that loves 80s films, like this film feels like it should have been made in the 80s. And I'm a huge 80s fan. So I absolutely loved it. Like I said, the film is a major love letter to the 80s films of the past. Another little note I probably would say is that I love the film score. I heard some people didn't like it, but I liked it. I thought it was very whimsical. It had a very John Williams-esque feel to it. Like it felt like the Superman, very much the old Superman score. I feel like it got a lot of inspiration from the Superman score, maybe a little Back to the Future, and maybe some Goonies. All those old movie scores, even Indiana Jones, it felt like a score that should have been made back in the day. And it was very well placed for this character. This character is very well set in magic and kind of just out there stuff. And I feel like a theme like that, a very heroic old school theme, very much matches this character. But all in all, this film, like I said, it's just outstanding. I give it a 5 out of 5 score. Solid 5 out of 5 for Shazam. So, if you haven't seen... I almost said Sheen. Jimmy Neutron. Well, if you haven't seen Shazam yet, please go see it. It is outstanding. One of the best DC films that has come out recently. Also, if you haven't seen Aquaman, go see Aquaman. And if you haven't seen Wonder Woman, go see Wonder Woman. Because all three of these films are just great. And I believe DC has a very, very bright future. Because Shazam did great, Aquaman did great, Wonder Woman did great. I mean, Justice League, not so much. But Shazam, I think this film and Aquaman have really opened doors for the DC universe in film. I just can't wait for the next DC film to come out. I believe, the Suicide Squad? Oh, there's a new Suicide Squad movie coming out. And there's the Birds of Prey film that will be coming out. I'm actually looking forward to that. So, yeah. Like I said, 5 out of 5 for Shazam, and be sure to check it out. I think I'm going to go out on a Shazam!